Just like the night I fell through you, I'm not who I once was. Just like a liar, I see through you and your wall. And I wish that I could have it all. 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 You've taken everything. You've taken everything away. You've taken You've taken everything away. Just like the life just I know it was always me. It was always me. It was always me. It was always me. You've taken everything. You've taken everything away. You've taken everything. You've taken everything away. You've taken I won't do anything. You've taken I won't give anything. You've taken I won't everything. You've taken I don't feel
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are in the world, apply the appropriate greeting. We appreciate everyone for coming on out, tuning in live on Twitch, or, on YouTube, or the various podcast platforms that Kit puts it on, with regards to like Spotify, Podbean. Go on, Kit. You know the list by now. Like I forget half of them.
Google, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, Podbean, and Stitcher.
There you go. I have to copy them into every, like, I put them in the bottom of every YouTube description, and I just copy them from the fucking previous one. But yeah. So today, I left it kind of late to get someone as a guest, and also, didn't say to Kit, "Yo, can you potentially get someone?" So, and he grabs basically all the bloody topics anyway, so I can't exactly put both jobs on him, can I?
Well, you could. Just didn't.
But my point is, so I thought, you know what? We got to like Tuesday, and I was like, you know what? This is probably going to be kind of close if anybody's going to agree to come on, that sort of thing. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just do me and you, like it was on episode 1. We've been doing it for what, like 21 weeks now. This is 22.
Yeah.
So it's what, 4 months, 5 months nearly. Like no, 5 months. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. We started like early January, didn't we?
Yeah. We started like first Thursday of
So it's
January.
like
Holy
five
shit.
and a half, nearly a couple of episodes. It'll be 6.
God
6 months.
damn. So yeah. Anyway, I figured we've been going for a while. We're on episode 22. We'll do a little bit of a recap of like previous episodes, updates, what we're planning with regards to the podcast. A couple things that we've got that me and Kit have, or more so Kit has decided this is a good idea, and then I've seen it and gone, yeah, that's a great idea. And then cover obviously a couple of topics and stuff that we've managed to gather this week. And then look at a couple things that we might going to cover in the future, as well as like future updates for me on my personal streams and Kit on his like personal streams. Obviously, everybody is on my channel for the podcast for right now. Maybe in the future we may actually do like a separate Rising Lights channel, but again, that's not something we've talked about yet or anything like that. So we won't be going into that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that's news to me.
Starts.
Oh, we're at perfect timing. Yeah, I was going to say that's news to me. Well, it's not really. It's been sort of like in the back of my mind anyway.
Yeah, eventually it makes sense.
That does also bring me into something else that's still a long way off as well. Is that what would you think if we had sort of a more consistent way to open the podcast?
What do you mean?
And there's a very good reason, right?
I know I screw up, but come on.
No, right. Right, it's fairly consistent. Right? We always come in with a part of the plan strong, right?
Yeah.
Grammarly can help you write quickly
and hopefully, if what I'm thinking would work and I can sort out the logistics of it, and it would probably be like not until a year and a half after we started the podcast that it would actually go on. If that would not change, but we have one that's sort of for the podcast.
That would make sense.
It would make sense. And it's a vague hope, and if I do manage to work it out with them, it's going to take a while to do. But
Kit's making deals behind my back, is it? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But you brought me quite cleanly onto the part of the plan, introduction, if you will, for anybody that's new to the podcast or new to like my channel in general, because I do occasionally, still to this day, have them on my Spotify, playing on my my streams. Part of the plan, great group of guys from Canada, that more specifically Windsor, which is right on the border with Detroit. Awesome group of lads from what I've seen in Rafe's streams. Rafe is the singer. We had on the podcast episode 4. The song we came into today, as you can see on screen right now, is What to Do When. And then, as you can see right here, here's the group of guys, and Rafe is the one here in the middle. Rafe has 2 commands in my chat for the fact that both are related to showing him and the band some love in regards to allowing people to use their music. As you can see on... Okay, apparently that clip is broken. I may have to go and look into that. Well, there was a clip on there that said...
The clip's
basically-
fine, it's just a preview.
Ah, okay. So, the clip basically, long story short, says that part of the plan looks forward to seeing what people make alongside their music, what they use their music for, etc., etc. And they basically say, have at it. So, they're happy to let people, use their music in live streams, YouTube videos, whatever it may be. So, if you like what you heard, you want to go and check them out, there's a couple of links there. Well, there's a link with the entire discography on Spotify. Go and check out the songs, listen to them, pick your favorites, make your own playlist, whatever. And maybe you can use one in a montage, use one in your streams, and help the guys out with a little bit of a listening thing, and monthly listeners or whatever on Spotify.
Yeah, or just give it a listen while you're doing whatever you're doing. If you're on your way to work or whatever, it's
Yeah,
just
exactly,
music,
that
why
too.
not?
One thing, I don't know what I keep meaning to say this to Rafe, and I might have said it actually, but he'd have to confirm or deny it because I can't remember. Is one thing I really do like about him is the music is very much varied. Not in a sense of it strays too far away from being, rock music as a generality, but there are certain songs that you get like a upbeat, this is a jam sort of thing, from, and then there's other songs where you listen to the lyrics and the music and you can tell they're trying to get a certain point across. One thing with regards to the album that What to Do When is from, I'm pretty sure Rafe either told me in his stream or he might have told us in the podcast with him on episode 4 that that like little album of 4 songs actually is directed to a producer friend of theirs that basically said that they're better off going, their separate ways and solo. The sound isn't unique enough, etc., etc. And it was basically a big, well, we're going to show you what the fuck we can do, in the most respectful way possible. And that's just go ahead and do it. So, up team respect for them. And at some point, I said to Rafe, back when we had him on the podcast, I did want to get like the group, the lads, all together if we possibly could on the podcast to sort of get their feelings as well, not just like have Rafe be the mouthpiece for the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that being said, I think we better move on to sort of giving a few updates about us and
Yeah, I
Our
mean,
own
it's in the
pers-
title of today's
Fly
podcast.
and
So.
travel the world. Listen up and settle back with thousands of
Lady
destinations
advert.
to
Alright. I got yours up first. Do you wanna
Why is there an ad just on my about? Whatever.
because it starts playing like a highlight or a stream, or like if you're
I
hosting
need-
somebody, it'll put that.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
I need to change that. That schedule fell apart a while ago.
Yeah, just a bit. Speaking of schedule, do you want to sort of go into
Yeah.
what's going on? 'Cause
Yeah,
obviously you
so,
haven't really streamed much. And...
Yeah. So anyone here who knows me and has been by my stream before will notice that it's not been live for a while now. And that was because I was directing a lot of my focus into searching for work. And now I've got some, which is a good step. It also means that I need to reconsider like a schedule, try and figure out if there are any days like I'll be too tired coming back from work and won't be able to stream, or what days I'll have like energies to spare and stuff, or whether I'll just stream at the weekends. So I'll be putting some updates on that probably in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks time maybe, on my Twitter. So look forward to that.
Which I will open right here. If you want to go and follow him, go and follow him.
It's
that
the same handle as it is
Yeah.
everywhere. At Enraged Kitsune.
Yeah, there you
No
go.
spaces.
Hey, no legs. Thanks for the sub. But yeah, so I now see what Theme was on about with the updated activity feed earlier. By the way, holy shit, that's different.
Yeah.
But yeah. So obviously, as Kit said, he's got himself some work now. He's working. He was putting all of his attention that he would have been putting to streaming towards finding work. Because not only because you want, to work, but then also you've got plans for like having your own place and stuff and being able to do more things. More
And there's
things
a lot
with
more
your stream.
Yeah,
when you have your own place.
once more space to use with it would really go a long way. So that's my focus at the minute, is get to that point, and then work from there.
Yeah. So like he said, keep up to date with that on his Twitter. And then we'll go into me. Yeah, but it's gonna show the stream because obviously I am live. But yeah, basically, me myself, if you'll look at my section, I don't have a schedule set anywhere. Now, originally, the reason for that was, as a dad of two, as it says in my, who is Intrepidus 1 here, there could be days where, I don't know, my fiance is going out with a family member to do something for my kids, right? Or to have a break from watching my kids. Because, legit, she watches them pretty much 24/7. And lets me do what I gotta do, sort of thing, in regards to Twitch, Twitter. This is why you'll see me in so many people's chats during the day, even when I'm not live, because she's still like watching my she's still watching my son, etc, etc. Like, obviously when they're not at school. When they are at school, obviously, on my days off, I do take my daughter with her. And on that point, to this point, up until today, I am only taking my daughter to her nursery 2 days out of the 5 that she goes. And I've come to the realization, basically, over the past like month or so, that she's been, God fucking damn it, I got the same bastard thing as earlier, Kit.
Oh no.
It was fine until just now. Anyway,
Oh, damn it.
I will just switch back to the other podcast scene, and carry on. Whilst my PC resets. Fucks. But the point is, I don't feel like it's right for me to be sort of saying to my fiance, alright, you take my daughter 3 days out of the week, and I'll come with you on the other 2 days. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm gonna start doing from Monday, my kids have an inset day on Monday, so they're not actually at school. But from Monday, I will not be streaming on Monday. I will be streaming on Tuesday instead. I will not be streaming on Wednesday. I'll be streaming on Thursday instead. And then I won't be streaming on Friday. And so I'll have that day break before the weekend, and I'll have that day break after the weekend, just to, you know, sort of have time with the fam and take my kids to school 3 days rather than 2, like, you know, just being responsible essentially. Then also that might make people think, oh shit, does that mean the podcast is going to change like from a Thursday night? No. The only reason the podcast will change from a Thursday night is, let's say I contacted, let me have a look at the tweet real quick that I've got. In fact, I'll just look at the list. Let's say I contacted Dragos, right? Me and Dragos did actually talk after I put out the tweet. He said he was surprised to have his name on there, etc., etc. We worked out the time difference because he's in like New Zealand. And I basically turn around and says, we'll sort something out. We can do it earlier if needs be. Bloody this, that, and the other. And so, like, let's say if he turned around to me and says, "Oh, well, 10 p.m. your time ain't actually gonna work for me. Is there any way we could do it on the Friday?" Then I would turn around and say, "All right, Kit, can we do it? I don't know, 11 a.m. our time, so it's like 11 p.m. his time, because he's like 10, 11, 12 hours ahead of us." You know, we can make that adjustment then, and then on the Friday, that's when we'll cross that bridge. On days like that, we'll cross that bridge, basically. But
Yeah.
for right now, it'll allow me to more schedulize getting guests and, you know, keeping them up to date with what topics we're going to cover, etc., etc. And then, so like I could get somebody to agree to come on like over a weekend, for instance. Say, look, we need a guest for this Thursday. Do you want to come on? They say yes. Monday, I just turn around to them and say, look, I'm not streaming today. Here's the link to the Discord that we use, which is like my old personal one. Which might as well be a fucking Rising Lights one at this point because I don't use it for anything else. And then I can make up the thumbnails that you see on YouTube, the tweets that say, look, we've got this person coming on, that thumbnail right there, that's, I made that up. I typically would do that on a Tuesday, like right now, but I didn't this week because we didn't have a guest, and we was doing the updates one. Then obviously I stream on the Tuesday, then the Wednesday we can sort of finalize a couple of the topics. And if nothing gets added between, you know, Wednesday, whenever I choose to send a screenshot of the topics we're going to cover with that guest over to the guest, so they can do some research if they want. If not, they've at least got some bullet points, you know, they can follow along during the podcast and say, look, this is how far we are along. So if for whatever reason they need to go, they can say to, like, let's say their other half turns around and says, oh, we need to go and do this, they can turn around and go, all right, I literally got 2 topics to discuss, give me 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? They can sort of gauge what time they've got with the podcast. And then basically I can, if things get added in between the Wednesday when I send it to them and the eventual actually start at 10 p.m. UK of podcast, I can just send them an up-to-date one as soon as I finish streaming. Or, you know, say to them, look, there's going to be a few things added because we've got Twitch patch notes, and Kit likes to include Twitch things that are going on that Twitch patch notes covers in the Twitch section of the podcast.
And it doesn't happen often, but it has happened before. And
can I update you at like 9 o'clock our time, sort of thing, like an hour before the podcast?
Yeah, because it's about an hour to an hour and a half long, and it's on 2 hours before we start. So it's literally right before we start is when get the information through from it.
But yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at with my streams. I'm gonna start trying to do kind of been trying to do this just recently anyway, but I was trying to do later ones on Saturday and Sunday because obviously I've got a few friends, a few of the clan that want to come and hang out over the like the weekend, but they want to come and hang out in the stream, but they didn't manage to catch the early streams that I have to do because of like kids being at school. I always, like every day, I pick the kids up with my fiance, so that's like a non-negotiable. So when you see like at 20 to 3 UK time, me turning around and going, okay, I gotta go, I'm raiding this person, let's go, sort of thing. I'm out, sort of thing. So you know, that's not a negotiable time. I can't change that. So rather than change the entirety of that time and just go, oh, you know what, I'll pick my kids up, I won't stream during the day, I'll pick my kids up and then I'll stream after, which will eat into a lot of my time with my kids. I just do like weekend stuff, and then again I'll have to just update Twitter whenever family occasions arise, like this past weekend where Saturday I didn't stream. Because I was spending time with my fiance, and then Sunday I didn't stream because I spent time with my daughter. So you know, it's all about finding that balance, and I feel like I can do that better with doing the 4 days a week essentially rather than doing 5. And then also you got to think as well with the schedule essentially that I'd set myself without actually like setting it in stone. I was streaming Wednesday, I'm having a break on Tuesday, I'm streaming Wednesday, then I'm having a break on Thursday, but then I'm doing the podcast later on in the night. Anyway, and then the Friday I'm streaming, Saturday streaming, Sunday streaming, Monday streaming. Like I'm on for 4 days, and I just feel like I can have a better relationship with my family for one, and then also be more energetic in my streams on my days on if I take those couple extra days off. Do you know what I mean? In between. So
Yeah,
we'll
it'll make sense.
we're gonna do that from now.
I'm just going to run with the couple days you mentioned before, because in a couple days, we have some game events going on.
Yes, in is it just under a week? Just over a week?
Well, the
first one starts on the 5th.
The first
so
ones are on the 5th, yeah. So we've got the Indie Live Expo on YouTube and the Guerrilla Collective stream on Twitch.
Yeah. So this is all to do with E3. Obviously, E3's though they may be able to potentially have done a live show, like being in person and stuff. I think to play it safe, they're doing the digital format, aren't they?
I mean, they planned to do a digital from a little while ago, and obviously, you know, even if you were able to do it, like they wouldn't have much time to plan, knowing that they would actually be able to get people into the venue.
To be honest, I think it's better anyway.
The other thing as well is just like, yeah, it is better this way. Not even specifically just this year, but especially this year, because you've got a lot of places where people who would normally go can't travel.
Yeah. Fuck off, Epic Store.
So, we've got the usual stuff, around June 11th and 12th. There's E3, got the IGN Expo.
Yeah. The I think that's the official start of the digital E3 is the 10th, because
it is that week, yeah.
Because that's what I saw on Twitter.
But as ever, there are always some who want to try and jump the gun a little bit.
Yeah. I did see something about certain people not being there. PlayStation, is it? Ain't going this year. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah, I mean they tend to have like the state of play things anyway, but I think they're going to put more focus on that this year
Yeah.
than being at other events.
I do feel like this is going to be quite important to see with regards to the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. Just because obviously this is the first time E3 has been on since Xbox acquired Bethesda.
Yeah,
We've already seen that they've put pretty much all the Bethesda titles on Game Pass. I can almost guarantee that all the new Bethesda titles, you know, if they do an Elder Scrolls 6, they do Dragon Age. Wait, no, Dragon Age is that's BioWare. If they do a Fallout, is the one I was thinking of. They do a Fallout 6 or 5? Yeah, 5. 76 was technically 5, but it's an open world one. You know, they'll probably put them directly onto Game Pass as well. So, although one thing I will say, this is going to also be the first year that I'm actually more interested in the latter show, the PC show,
gamer one, yeah,
than any other. Like, do you know what I mean? Because typically I'd be like, who gives a shit about the rest of this fucking crap? I just want to see the Xbox stuff.
yeah.
But I will be watching as much of it as I can and making some notes for us to like talk about on the podcast. Maybe we can have somebody who's not so Destiny inclined on.
Yeah,
like,
it is going to be a big week for
week after
non-Destiny news.
Yeah. And then if it is a big week for Destiny as well, then we maybe just push it off and, you know, cover it the week after. Maybe have no Twitch news the next week, sort of thing. Ronan. Bloody hell, he did enjoy his time on episode 19.
Yeah.
It was only like 3 episodes ago? Yeah, because it's episode 22. Even with my technical difficulties, he enjoyed himself.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to give us some talking points in a couple of weeks as well. A couple of the games that might be coming. And then
continue to article.
yeah,
if you get the
we're
pop-up,
going to. No, I don't.
Apologies for the surroundings. Just continue to article. There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, yes. So there's been another smaller wave than the last wave, but there's another light wave of DMCA notifications to Twitch.
Yeah.
And you know, they've got to do what they've got to do to maintain their legal standpoint of the safe harbor thing, where basically it's user generated content, so it's not our problem. Basically, it's to the point where they say, okay, this video is using our content, get rid of it, and then they have to do that. But what they did do this time round, as well as obviously being a smaller one, they decided to send emails out to a lot of people. I don't know if you got one. I think I did get one.
I did get one. I was like, wait, I ain't got no DMCA strikes on my channel. Let me have a look. And I looked. I was like, yeah, I don't.
Came over it, and then it went to the bin because I knew I was fine. Because the music that I was using on my streams is licensed.
But I don't know, right? So when it comes to DMCA, I think the main conversation we had about DMCA was with Wraith, right? Because we were talking about obviously the band and the music,
looking at it from
allowing us to use the music
from their perspective, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because like my outlook on it overall hasn't changed. In a sense of the video that you sent me when I was originally saying like, what the fuck is DMCA? Like, what do I have to worry about now? And you just sent me this video and says, look, this is explains it perfectly. It was designed to stop big ass fucking companies like Napster stealing from big ass companies like, you know, Shady Records. Like, it was not designed for little Timmy on his computer streaming to 10 people, do you know what I mean? Or tens of thousands if you're, you know, Lyric or Tim the Tapman or whatever. But it wasn't designed for those interactions, if you will. It was designed for company to company reaction rather than company to streamer. I think there needs to be something put in place legally worldwide that is to a certain extent DMCA, but then also, you know, said that obviously artists are protected from infringement and etc. etc. But also not so linear in the fact that if you go to an artist and the artist turns around and goes, yeah, you can use my music, why not? Like, you enjoy listening to it, why not let your viewers enjoy listening to it too? I think if you get something in writing from the artist, even if, because obviously it goes back to rights and stuff. We covered this with, I think it was Taylor Swift a few weeks back. There was a whole thing with Taylor Swift not owning the rights for certain songs, and her original record label did, and then they got bought out by another company that was trying to use those rights, and she just turned around and went, well, guess what? I am the songwriter, and I'll just re-release them, and then I own the rights for them, and you don't. Because you're not, like, contracted to me, etc., etc. I think there needs to be a thing put in place where the artists themselves, even if it's in their contract to where, you know, Warner Brothers fucking music, whatever music label they're with, owns the rights to the song, the artist, as like the performer, can turn around and go, okay, yeah, you can listen to my music on your stream, and then the production company, like I said, record label, whatever,
and I think
can't just go, oh well, they might have given you permission, but we didn't. DMCA. Do you know what I mean? Because there needs to be some sort of thing worked out, because it was, like I said, designed for a different combat, if you will. Combat a different problem, and it was also designed 20 years ago, maybe more. And it was 98 on it, so it was like 24 years, 23 years ago.
And the point I wanted to bring from this article, particularly going into the next one, was exactly that, the issue of like people saying, oh yeah, you're free to use it, but them not being able to issue a license to you to do it. So then obviously if you don't have the license from them, the label's going to go, well, no, we didn't permit that, and anyone who on our behalf didn't permit that. And there are companies obviously who will license music for live streams, and there are some games that have streaming modes that will have a different playlist on, or will just not have music.
There's another thing. We don't need that. Like, we shouldn't have that. If a piece of music, right? So, I did music at GCSE, right? I learned like the history of music and all, you know, what makes music, what makes music great, why it touches people's emotions, why you get people who enjoy different types of music. Me myself, if I put my fucking Spotify playlist on my streams, you come in, you can literally, in the space of 20 songs, you will hear 3 different genres. You will hear rock, you will hear rap, you will hear reggae, and then after maybe 5 or 6 more, you will hear garage, and then you will hear drum and bass, and then you'll hear like electronica, techno sort of stuff, you know, like Nero and Searle, like, and I've even got like plans to add more to it, like Tenacious D, which they're rock, yes, but they're a different type of rock to what is already on my playlist. The point I'm trying to make is like, there is a reason that a developer of a game, a publisher of a game, whoever it is that makes the decisions at the games companies, have chosen to put a song in a certain piece of content on the game. Key example, right? Most people didn't know Creedence Clearwater Revival, Fortune Son, until Call of Duty Black Ops 1. In the campaign, You are literally flying around while that song is playing, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember doing my research correctly, obviously this was years ago, back when the game first came out, and I was like, oh, why did they pick to use this song? I'm pretty sure like that song is actually about Vietnam and the whole like US Vietnam War, which Black Ops 1 is sort of centered around. So, you know, it is perfectly aligned with the mission that you are doing in the game, right? Most people didn't know that song until that game, because, you know, it came out in like the 70s or 80s, and most people who were playing Call of Duty at the time, yes, obviously you had your adults that were playing the games because they enjoyed them, and etc, etc. But you also had your 12-year-olds that just bought Call of Duty every year, that, you know, sweated it out in pubs and stuff. And I know I led a fucking Call of Duty clan. Like, I'm guessing that's one of the lyrics, Ronan. But so yeah, like the point I'm trying to make is like the games companies pick certain pieces of music, apply for the particular rights for said music from the license holders for that reason, right? They need to. It's a big company that's applying for permission from a big company to use their property. Fair enough. But then if Activision, for instance, in the example given of Call of Duty Black Ops 1 with Fortune Sun, if they have permission to use it, I'm playing the game, I shouldn't have to turn game sound off or music in-game off just because, you know, they got the license to use in the game, but the license doesn't cover live streaming the game. Do you know what I mean? Anything that is connected to said game, like intellectually speaking, should be included. Do you know what I mean? And that could be a case of, oh, well, Activision doesn't pay for X license, it pays for Y license, and Y license only covers them to use it. It doesn't cover, whereas X license includes all versions of the game being played, etc. Like, that could be a thing. But if that's the case, then rather than turning around and going, games companies, games producers, whatever, here's your options, just turn around and go, oh, yeah, here's your one option. You pay us to use our content, and then anybody who plays your content doesn't get DMCA'd by us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, the whole thing, full circle, just makes zero fucking sense.
Yeah, and the thing with the what I was saying here is going into the next topic, kind of. Well, not the next topic, but the next tab. Is that at the moment the way the licenses work is they're always sort of suffixes like, oh, this grants the holder a non-transferable license to blah 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 blah, right? And there are some, they usually like open source licenses that are like Creative Commons attribution share alike, which is basically, as long as you say where you got this content, like this picture or this video or this piece of music or whatever, you can share a piece of content of the same type. So like if you take some music and you put it in another audio file like the podcast or whatever,
yeah,
share it with the same license. That's what share alike is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that then is transferred from one to the other to the next. So like if I get if I get a limited transferable license for something I put in a game and say, okay, this also transfers to the person who buys the game so that they can then use it in a video.
Yeah.
That's what really we're looking for. But
there's my point though. The companies that are selling the licenses shouldn't give the games developers the opportunity, but they do, because then they know that companies like Activision who aren't wanting to spend the extra money to save, you know, the streamers, the YouTubers, the people that basically give them free fucking marketing. Let's face it. They don't want to save them because they look down on them as the little guy, right? So they're like, okay, we'll just save ourselves some cash. We'll pay the least amount that we can. We'll pay for this non-transferable fucking license. And then when little Timmy streams the game, plays the game, or a YouTube video, you know, gets hit with a DMCA, fucking big music company over there can slap him on the wrist with however much money they want. And even then, you know for a fact that it's going to be like, let's say, argument's sake, 2 to 3 grand, right? Just for argument's sake. I can almost guarantee you it would have cost Activision like 1 extra grand for the like transferable license. It's just them making money, and it's stupid, it stinks. And honestly, as I just said, Twitch streamers, YouTubers, people that are now streaming on Facebook Gaming, like anybody who creates content around a specific game, you are giving them free publicity. They aren't paying you to play their game. They aren't paying you to say, yeah, I enjoy this game. You enjoy the game, so you play it. You tell people who come and tune in that you enjoy it. Then they want to give it a try. Then maybe they enjoy it, and they tell their friends and their friends, and it's a knock-on effect. The sooner people realize that, the better. Do you know what I mean? The sooner they realize as well that, whilst, yeah, it might cost you, I don't know, 10 million to fucking get Ninja to play your game, and then Ninja will turn around and say, oh, yeah, I really like it, because you just paid him 10 million. Even if he thinks it's the shittest game on the planet, he's going to say he likes it, because he's going to want you to come back to him and go, oh yeah, you know the sequel to that game you played and we paid you 10 million? Yeah, we're going to pay you 10 million again to play it again. And then he's going to be thinking in his head, oh shit, do you know what? I really want that 10 million. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that that's all of them. It's not Ninja. But there will be people who are bad apples like that are higher up that will just take the money, say what needs to be said to further themselves in standing with that company so that they come back and give them more. Like, whereas someone like Fiend, for instance, our friend Fiend, right, used to do QA testing for Sony. He was QA tester on Detroit Become Human. Right? He partners with like recently starting Monday Just Gone, he partnered with Raid Shadow Legends. And he's not looking at it as, oh, well, if I get people to play the game, I get paid. He's been up front and said, yeah, if I get 25 people to play the game, I get paid more than if I get 15 people to play the game. Do you know what I mean? He's been up front with that. But he's also not looking at it like that, and he's also not saying, look, I know it's like, he's not looking at his Raid Shadow Legends, this and the other. He's had his fun with it. He's playing. He's memeing a little bit, etc., etc. But he's also looking at it as, okay, even if Raid never decide to contact him again and say, we want you to do another sponsored segment, he's got evidence then to go to other companies, say Bungie, just throwing it out there for argument's sake, and go, look, I did a sponsored thing. It went quite well, got quite a few people to play, and I'd like to do the same thing for you. He's got evidence then to back up his claim of he can, you know, promote a product.
Yeah.
And he's not like the size of Ninja. He's not the size of Tim the Tatman or anything like that. So the point I'm trying to say is, like, companies who want to pay the big guys, I know, yeah, the big guys, they've got all the eyes on them, right? They've got the money. You spend the money, you get pretty much your money back because of all the eyes they've got on them. But the point is, as soon as you turn around and, like, let's say you turn around and went, okay, if we can get you to get 5 people to play our game, we'll pay you £50, £10 a person, right? If you get 1,000 people from 10,000 that are watching Tim the Tatman, for argument's sake, right, to play your game, but because he's got an audience of like 10,000, you're paying him 50,000 instead of, you know, 5. Like, the point I'm trying to make is you can get more return on your money for the smaller guys because people are more like, I've watched crazy amounts of Raid Shadow Legends adverts since the game was released. I had no interest in ever playing it because it didn't seem like my type of game, right? Fiend turns around and says, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing it for this evidence thing. I'm also going to sort of do a little bit of a give back to you guys that support me. So depending on how many people, you know, help out, depends on how much I will give back, sort of thing. Because I want to show my appreciation that way. I'm like, do you know what? It's helping him with evidence because, you know, it's one extra person that might not have played, and then anybody else that also thinks like me. There might be 5, 6, 10 of us that are thinking exactly the same. Ends up playing. Then it's also, he's giving back to his community. Whether I win it or not, I couldn't really care. Obviously, I've entered with all 30 of my tickets that I get. Like, I think he said you and Ronin have as well, and I think maybe CJ.
Yeah, so there's a lot of tickets in there.
But my point is like, I am somebody who was dead set against playing that game, but because it's supporting my friend is then also giving back to his community in response to that support. I've played the game, and do you know what? It's not actually that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay. Now, if more companies did that instead of approaching these huge YouTubers, huge streamers, where, like, so Crypt, for instance, Crypt the rapper on YouTube, American rapper, YouTube rapper, got awesome talent. He did a freestyle for Raid when he got sponsored by them. What I did when I started hearing the beginning of that advert that he did, I skipped ahead in his video. So I was like, no interest in playing it. Fiend announces that he's doing it, and like, do you know what? I'll consider giving it a go. And then hearing like, you know, oh well, I'm literally gonna use it for evidence and all, like his reasonings behind it, I've basically gone, okay, all right, now I'm definitely gonna give it a fucking go, because it's then arming him with extra knowledge, information even to pass on to other companies that could potentially do sponsorships with him. You don't need to sub to a streamer. You don't need to hang out in their chat every day to support them. If they're doing things like this sponsored thing, even if you have no interest in doing it, do the bare minimum and then stop. They'll appreciate it, I'm telling you. But I'm digressing, so let's move on. Because I could rant about this fucking shit all day. Well, you know, big companies looking down on the little guy, and I hate it.
Glad you mentioned that, because in amongst all of this, there was something that was brought up in this article that wasn't in the previous one, and I didn't even notice it. But last year, The article starts with like, however, music isn't the only area Twitch could someday face legal issues. Yeah, there it is on screen there. A little bit further down than that. But yeah, so last year, Alex Hutchinson, who's a creative director at a Montreal studio that's owned by Stadia, he caught flack for suggesting streamers were also on the hook for license for the games they play, not just the music that's in it, because they don't own broadcast rights for them.
Again, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
I'm sorry. I pay for a game. If I want to stream it, as I just said, I'm giving you free fucking publicity, motherfucker. There are people who may never have touched Destiny, but have met me through me playing Ark or Warframe or whatever, or played with me back when I used to run my COD clan, that have got into Destiny because I was playing it. At the time, I wasn't streaming it, but my point still stands. They could be watching me play Destiny on my stream, having a blast. I haven't really been doing that just recently. I've been having more fun with Apex. But the point still stands. If I'm having fun with the game, the people who are watching me are going to consider downloading it, consider playing it. And not only that, they're going to look at it and go, well, if I consider playing it, then maybe Trek will consider playing it with me. And
yeah, maybe not so much with that last point, but I remember watching a couple of streams earlier in the year, last year. I can't remember how far back it was, but I'd sort of heard about Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really seen anything about it, but I could tell by like the art style that it might be a game that I'd be interested in. So I went and I watched people play it for a bit. Like I sat in the chat. I didn't really talk much because I tend not to when I'm in chat, to be honest.
I can vouch.
But I sat there and I watched them play it, and you know that was enjoyable enough for me to go, okay, yeah, I'll play the game. You know, it wasn't as a massive decision to like, oh, I'm on the fence, do I buy it, do I not buy it? Because it's a free to play game. It's a free to play game. But it's along the same lines as like people who were looking at like, oh, raid this, raid that. I'm sick of hearing about raid, and then you go, oh, but like you can literally just like play it for 5 minutes and then uninstall it if you want. You know, it's just like, oh, I'll give it a go. And like I had it installed on my phone before. I played 2 days, and the time that I played it on the PC, since Fiend brought it up, was like half that, but I'd already got like 3 levels higher. Because like I was more into it then than I was earlier, and it wasn't anything like and massive had changed with the game, but it's just sort of like I wasn't that interested in it before. I think I just sort of like clicked on it by accident and installed it. I've got it installed, I may as well try. Whereas this was like, oh, well, I'll give it a shot. I was sort of paying more attention to it because it was.
You want to support your friend. Like,
yeah.
But therein lies my entire fucking point. To be honest, is like we who like hang out like with Fiend, right? People who hang out in my chat, people who when you start streaming again hang out with you, are more likely to support you in any endeavor like that than like if I was hanging out in fucking Syndicate's chat, because I do that sometimes. Tom Syndicate. I'll hang out in his chat. If he did a Raid Shadow Legends fucking sponsorship, I'm gonna turn around and go, huh, fuck off. And the point is because you look at it and you go, well, you've got all these. It goes to the numbers and shit. But you turn around and go, look, you are basically successful. You don't need to be taking things like this. So me refusing to do it isn't hindering you. Do you know what I mean? And then you've also got the numbers anyway to turn around and say, if the raid thing flopped for you, you could still go to fucking Call of Duty and go, look, which because he's a partner with Call of Duty. Anyway, but let's say he wasn't, he could still go to, because of the numbers he's got from playing like Call of Duty and Warzone and other game and Minecraft and that across the time he's been streaming and YouTubing. He could still go to those companies and say, look, I want let's get something going in a partnership standpoint, and they more than likely say yes, because they look at it as, you know, essentially free publicity. Obviously they're going to be paying him in some capacity, but that's my point. You are more likely to support a smaller guy because it's like, well, if this flops, it flops. Like, they're fucked in a sense of what they are trying to use it for. Whereas one of the bigger guys says it, you're just like, haha, yeah, whatever, fuck off, off you trot, mate. You got these numbers to back it up anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think you're more likely if you approach smaller people and pay them less because they are smaller, you're more likely to get more bang for your buck. You know, you might get 10 people sign up that are worth £5 each to you, whereas you might get 1,000 people sign up from 10,000 that are worth £2 each because of the, you know, the amount you paid said streamer.
Not only that, but obviously if you spend less, you can spend more often, so you can have more, you know, more outreach. So you have
exactly.
pocket here and a pocket over there and a pocket here, rather than one large pool that like not everyone's going to dip in.
Exactly. And I don't think we'll just leave that there because it kind of incorporates. It kind of incorporates the music thing as well, though, because you think about it, if you open up DMCA to Twitch streamers and YouTubers, and then little Timmy's watching a YouTube video and hears a song he likes listening to, maybe he's gonna go and fucking buy it. Maybe think about that next time you try and DMCA strike some motherfucker music industry. How about that one? But anyway.
All right, that's what happens when you don't own the music. What about when you do? What about when you're making it?
What, William Ryan Key launches Twitch partnership. Okay.
Yep. So streaming exclusively on Twitch for what this page calls a revolutionary way to present new music, interact with fans, and revisit old standards. So the band he was in, Yellow Card, they broke up in March of 2017. This guy took a step away from the spotlight.
I realized. I think I remember that name. I think maybe Hathmatics. I think maybe he used one of their songs and sort of, my PC's gone again. Fucking great.
Again? God damn it. Oh, Ronan loves them. Most definitely. Cool.
Oh, it's back.
Oh, is it? Okay. That was quick.
Establishing a secure connection though, so.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it was just the site. My PC didn't like the site. Anyway.
So you're probably more well versed in their exploits than Ronan than we are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hath used one of their songs and made a parody for Apex or Destiny, I want to say. Let me whilst we discuss. Yeah, page is unresponsive. Let me wait.
Anyway, he says, I am beyond excited about this partnership with Twitch. The last year has been such a challenge for so many musicians, and I myself have been searching for what my next opportunity might be for quite some time.
But yeah, I'm gonna look and see if I can find what I'm trying to talk about with regards to Hath.
You try and find that.
Yeah.
So he says he's currently working on multiple new projects, and he's going to be streaming live from his home studio every week.
Okay.
So, you know, fans will have a chance to interact directly with him as he crafts new music on the stream. And it does look like there are quite a few people who will go in this direction. You know, like making music or composing and recording and not editing, but sort of producing music live. Oh. What can't you see? Oh, I need to
I'm
refresh.
checking. I found it. Alright, I found it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He used the song "Way Away" by Yellowcard and made a parody video for Apex called "Maybe Someday."
Ah.
So
Okay.
I'll put the link of that into my Twitch chat real quick. So if anybody wants to go and listen to that, like, variation of the Yellowcard song whilst we're talking about it. So yeah, obviously, this just doesn't want to open this page anymore. I don't know why.
Wow.
So let's
Well,
just
you find
quickly.
that the actual article's been dealt with. It's just like, a bit of a discussion on it now.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, I think more musicians will do this because, let's face it, it does allow them to get their music out to a bigger audience. Whether it will have the same sort of restrictions around it, like, there's one thing I've never looked into, and maybe you have, Kit, and you can sort of cover that, and that is, I've never thought about if, for argument's sake, I would say your stream on my stream, like, whilst I'm streaming, it's your streaming, and watch your stream on mine, like a watch party type thing. Whether there is anything, if you didn't like it, you could do. Do you know what I mean? I know obviously there's people who do watch parties for Apex, which we're going on to in a minute.
No, I've not looked into it. Now that I think about it, there isn't really anything that you could realistically do.
Obviously, Apex will have some of the pros or ex-pros that will do watch parties for ALGS events, and they will basically sit there with multiple screens open from different streamers that are in the lobby, and they want to watch like different point of views. They might do their own little bit of shoutcasting. They might have the Play Apex stream open as well and go, look, they're watching such and such play constantly, and they need to sort of give a bit of feedback sort of thing and say, oh look, they need to watch some of the smaller guys a bit more and stuff like that. And it's great because starting yesterday we covered it last week, starting yesterday for the EU, the North Americans, and Tuesday for the EU, they have the ALGS like champs going on, and they've actually got like guest streamers. So for the EU, they've got a guy called Daz something who's on YouTube, like streaming one lobby, and he's doing like shoutcasting and he's spectating. It's the first time they've ever used streamers and they've had control over the spectating tools. Normally they would have to spectate Play Apex, who are in control of the spectating tools, and you might not get to see certain teams that you might want to get to see. Tonight, I stayed up watching Nicewig, who was the guy who was he's like a pro player as well. He was like doing the secondary stream, essentially the Bravo stream, if you will, for the ALGS North America, and Wally Catchers, who's the team we've covered a couple times whenever I've talked about Apex, like ALGS, because I'm friends with Cody, who I met through Anne when I was in Favoured. and obviously I met Anne through Karma, my cousin. Like they were in the lobby that Nicewig was covering, and literally he did a bang up fucking job, and I've got to commend him. And I hope people might actually who might see this like live now who are interested in ALGS go and check him out on Twitch. Nicewig is his like handle, all one word, and it's double G at the end. He was doing a better job than the quote unquote professional spectators of the Play Apex stream in covering multiple teams. He wasn't just sticking on the big names that are in that lobby. He was like sort of sticking with the teams that are in the action, and sticking with teams because he's a pro player. He understands that where a team is positioned isn't the best, so he's like, okay, I need to stick with these guys because something's about to go fucking down. Yeah. And then literally he would go over to that stream and it would go over to that point of view, and boom, something would go down. They'd get like a fight going, and then they'd get third partied, and then they'd get fourth partied, and before you knew it, like ALGS Apex plays a whole lot fucking different. I can tell you this, right? It plays a whole lot slower. You will typically see in the second and third, fourth rings, like towards the end of the zone, you will typically see anywhere from 15 to 19 squads left. Yeah, you will not see that in ranked. You will not see that in pubs. If anything, you will see 2 squads left in the second ring. Like it's actually stupid how fast some of the lobbies die. But yeah, appreciate the lurk, Chaotic, Scott, and I hope you enjoy the food. But yeah. So, like, Nicewig was doing a fucking bang-up job, and I'm not being funny, he is actually friends with Greek, who is one of the guys on Wally's, alright? So, he even admitted, he goes, when they won, because they won a game, one of the 6 games last night, he says, when they won this game, I obviously got hyped. I obviously support the boys. They're fucking awesome. They're all 3 controller players. Nicewig is a controller player. He's like, you know, his exact words, I think. All right, I won't say exact words. I'll paraphrase a little bit, but I'm pretty sure his words were to something. They were at least something to the extent of the most underrated team in this lobby. Someone sign these guys. They have just shown why somebody needs to sign them. It was basically what he said. I think the first part of that was his exact words, but I'm not 100% certain. But yeah. On the subject of Apex, obviously I just said about the championship thing. How they're working it right now is there are 4 groups, each with 10 teams in, and then you have each day a lobby of one group versus another group. So yesterday you had A versus B, so Group A versus Group B, and C versus D. And C versus D was the one that Nicewig was covering. As you can see, Wallycatchers finished 4th in their lobby, and they actually in the overall standings are in 8th. So they're in a pretty good spot because it's only the top 20 overall that actually qualify for the actual championships, which I do believe are next week. And they don't find out until Sunday whether they've progressed, because tomorrow oh good Otis. So tomorrow you have A versus C, which will probably be on the main Play Apex channel on Twitch, and then you'll have B versus D, which obviously, because Wallies are in Group D, you will see them in there. Let's say they finish a top 4 again here, that will put them in a great point of view for standings overall. They could have a very bad showing on the final day, which is Sunday, where their group plays against Group A, and probably still like just about qualify. Obviously, that's not the way they're looking at it. They're trying to do their best in all three group stages. But yeah, like honestly, I was hyped as fuck yesterday. Technically, it was the early hours of this morning for us because I legit didn't get off my phone because Cody went live after the stream had finished for their group. Cody went live and said, "Look, thanks everybody for coming on out, chilling in Greek's chat, chilling in Wig's chat, cheering us on. Like, very much appreciate all that. The usual stuff, saying thank you to people." At like 4:30 this morning for us. So I was still watching and on my phone at 5 this morning because I just enjoyed the commentary from Wig, the hype. When ever anybody won, anybody made a great play, it wasn't just, oh well, we know in this C versus D group that complexity C9, SSG, Team Liquid, and G2 were like probably your favorites to finish like high up. And Wig did not stick to just those teams. Did he mention that they were probably the clear favorites to place well? Yeah, of course he did. But he also turned around and went, look, you've got these underdog teams, these teams that aren't signed, these teams that are overlooked by the big organizations like Wally Catchers, like Content, that could pull up a great placement and end up further up the board. And what did they do? Wally Catchers finished 4th. Content playing actually not that great throughout the entire night, but then final game they pull their finger out their ass and place 2nd. Like, it's the nature of a battle royale. It's RNG, right? So that's basically what he was saying. But on that subject, like overall of Apex, is Apex themselves tweeted out 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago, wasn't it? Yeah, on the 3rd. That they are going to be doing community created loading screens as Twitch drop. So you need to link your account, your Apex account, your Origin account, to your Twitch account. Watch certain streamers for a certain amount of time. Here's the list of this week's streamers if you want to go and check them out. You have to watch them for an hour and you'll get a I think you get this one, and then the next week they'll tweet out again obviously the list, as it says here. Streamers rotate, so be sure to check here who to watch next. So they'll probably change the background as well. They've probably got a selection of probably like 3, 4, 5 maybe. And yeah, so they're gonna obviously alternate through that and alternate through the streamers. So
yeah, there's 6 and they're weekly.
There you go.
So got all of June and until halfway through July. If you just make sure you watch like an hour a week of some of those names, and you should be able to see like if you look on the Twitch drops inventory, it will say here are some channels that it'll say watch channels playing this game, like, and then I'll have a couple of people there.
So like the only one in this list that I've heard of really is Timmy. As you can see, I'm following him. But I have heard of them, but I've never seen them, his and hers. And that's about it, I think. Yeah. But, again, it's there you go, there's Nice Wig right there. Stop bashing other creators because the one you watch isn't part of this list. Every single person here deserves it. Absolute W for Twitch drops and for the creators included. Let's go. And it's the fact is as well, people were bashing these people not realizing that in next week the streamer that you watch could potentially be in this list.
In the list, yeah.
If Timmy's in this list this week, chances are he's not going to be in it next week. Do you know what I mean? They want to show off as this is something Apex does fucking brilliantly, and I think part of including Daz and Nicewig as like the secondary streams for each region, EU and North America, for the champs as well, is they're showing off members of the Apex community, right? Apex themselves don't need to do this. They don't need to arm Timmy and all these people with the drops for them to boost their viewership and potentially have new people come in and chill and end up enjoying Timmy's content or any of the others. They don't need to do that. They're doing this to boost Apex community and Apex as the game as a whole. This is essentially what I was getting at earlier. If you had more companies that looked at it this way and just went, here, we'll throw you a bone, the likelihood is you'll spread the word a lot more. And a lot more people are going to be more reciprocal. Like, Timmy might... I'm using Timmy because, like I said, I know of him. Timmy and Nicewig, right? They have probably would say yes to play Apex with regards to stuff like this at the drop of a hat, right? Apex probably don't even need to turn around and go, oh, we'll pay you this much. It'll just be, okay, here's the thing, right? And they want to do it because it's something they're passionate about. They're passionate about the game, etc., etc. But Apex is like getting all these streamers to give out these drops, right? So people are watching these streamers that might not have watched them. So they're building that. They're building the community aspect of Apex itself, rather than just going, well, you got your pros and your preds that are top of the game, and then everybody else. It's building the community together. You say, yeah, you need to watch an hour to get this loading screen. Go and watch this streamer for an hour. You might never have heard of them. You might watch them for an hour, decide their content isn't for you, get your reward and fuck off. That's completely up to you. But you also might watch them for an hour and go, you know what? I really like it here. I'm going to hit that follow button. I'm going to watch them next week, even if they aren't on the list. Do you know what I mean? It's building the community aspect of the game up, and I like it very much. Especially in something that, as we've just discussed with regards to ALGS, there is a competitive side of it. Yeah? There are people who will talk shit about each other, about this game, because of the fact that they are very competitive. A lot of the shit talk, most of them don't, like, a few of them do mean it a hell of a lot. Like, there's a few people that are salty about certain aspects of the game, and then other people clown on them about it, and they get very defensive and shit, and you can tell they actually hate that this thing is a mechanic or this thing is a part of the game. Like, controller aim assist, for argument's sake. Like, but there are people who are just passionate about the game and want to see it succeed, and they just clown on each other. They have this banter back and forth because it makes for good content. It makes for good rivalries, and then makes for an entertaining stream whenever they come up against each other, either in ALGS or in their own personal streams in ranked. Like, do you know what I mean? It makes for entertaining content, and therefore it boosts the game as a whole.
Going on content and boosting the game, shall we get through the rest of the content we've got planned?
Yeah, we will move on to Destiny's most powerful cutscene to date.
Spoilers ahead if you haven't played this week's mission.
Yeah.
You've had a couple of days already, but I haven't played it already, but I did already have pretty much the entire cutscene, but minus the pictures, spoiled to me about 4 weeks ago. So, rip me, I guess.
See, I managed to not see that. So this cutscene, actually first saw it when I was watching Lee the other night.
All right, yeah. So you have already seen the cutscene.
Yeah, and then I looked, like, I saw this cutscene and I saw him, like, you know, talking to Mithrax and those in the Elixir Quarter at the end of this week's, like, story mission, which leads into this cutscene. And then to be honest, it actually turned around to me. I actually turned around to him and says, "This week's story, is it good or can I give it a miss?" He goes, "Dude, it's fucking good." And then this cutscene came up and I was like, "Okay, this is fucking good. I gotta play this myself." And so what did I do?
Run.
Yesterday, on my stream, I hit my plat on Apex with Pasha's help. Video up on my YouTube channel, by the way, if you want to see my buddy Pash, one of my mods, put me in his backpack and carry me essentially to plat from Gold 1. That was a very fun game. I even tweeted out yesterday a clip of me killing a Valk as she tried to like use her ultimate to get away.
Oh, you grabbed the clip of that, did you?
Yeah, I grabbed the clip of that and I said, like, this is probably the greatest thing I did in this game, but we still won. Like,
yeah. Like I don't think I caught that like visually because I was busy with like the course or something. But hearing that was fucking hilarious.
yeah. I think I even titled the clip something along the lines of "Close range aim assist doesn't help, but long range my aim takes over." And it's literally you can see her as a dot in the sky, and I just beam her.
Yeah, what was it you said? I can beam a dot in the sky, but close up I can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, that was it. It was fucking great. Like, for those who don't know, right, after a certain distance for controller, aim assist just goes out the window. Right? There is no aim assist. So if you get a good controller player that can snipe, a good controller player that can hit his R301 shots or G7 shots, or even R99, because I've seen people do it. In fact, I've done it once or twice myself. At like 30 or 40 meters, like, there is no aim assist. That's their aim. That's them being confident in their input method, right? The close range is where you see controller have aim assist, and it's even worse on console, right? I think PC controller has like 0.5, console has like 1.2. It's almost like triple. It's stupid. But anyway, why you hear controller players that are on PC, even them complain about console players. But again, I'm moving away from the topic at hand. So yeah, you want to go and see that, go and see that. But yeah, after that, Pash wanted to, because he's recently got back into Destiny, he wanted to do some grinding for himself, and then he ended up having to do the opening story mission for the season, right? So me and Karma, we went and did an override so I could get this to pop up, and then I went and did this while we were waiting for Pash to decide what quest he wanted to like farm up and raise his power and all this, that, and the other. And so yeah, I have actually like seen it myself as well, and then I actually finally like finished it properly, like going to the helm and getting the dialogue from Lakshmi and Mithrax by myself last night, like whilst I was listening to the start of the LGS champs. So yeah, I personally think this is the best story we've had in a seasonal model. Chosen, I would say, is second, and then Hunt is third, and then, you know, obviously big expansions like Beyond Light are going to be subjectively better than the seasonal story. But for right now, I'm saying Destiny story-wise is better than it's ever been over the past 3 seasons. Content-wise, I feel like we've actually taken a step back repeatedly. In a sense of, we had all 4. Obviously, you had to grind for the runes and stuff unlocks in Season of the Hunt. You had all 4 hunts available. The only one you didn't have available until they wanted it to be available towards the end of the season was the High Celebrant Hunt, which made story, implications were correct. Made sure that's why that was like delayed till later on in the season. Then Chosen, we had 2 battlegrounds to begin with, and then obviously Battlegrounds got its own playlist within the strike, like the Vanguard section, the strike section of the director. Override, there is 1 available. There has been 1 available per week, and then obviously this week, we've been the 4th week, I believe, it's gone back to Europa.
Yep.
There is no matchmaking to go into. Like, if you click on Override, it doesn't matchmake you between the 3 that are available. It just puts you into that week's one. So it goes, okay, Europa's this week, you're going to Europa. Whereas the Battlegrounds, you go in even now, and it will just randomize which battleground it puts you in. Personally, I like that model rather than what we've got so far with Override, and I think like that's probably what's sort of putting me off playing more Destiny. And like, a long story short, I am having more fun playing like Apex and rather than and occasionally like dabbling in Destiny than I am like playing Destiny as much as I used to, and it actually kind of hurts because I like really want to play Destiny, but it feels to me, and I said this in a tweet that on another topic, but it was because it was related to something that was said on the podcast that they did with DCP. I think it was DCP, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, it feels to me like they're just trying to say, here's how we want to play you to play the game this way. And I don't like that. I don't like that you want to restrict how I can go about completing something. Something like pushing a boss off a map, or like instant melting it because Witherhoard was a thing back when it first came out. Yeah, okay, I get that. Patch that, balance it, whatever. Something like Witherhoard doing slightly less damage overall, like damage per second, than Anarchy. Again, I can get behind that because Witherhoard's a special, Anarchy's a heavy. Heavy's ammo's more like economy is more scarce. Therefore, you're less likely to have it. Therefore, you should be doing more damage. But to turn around and go, okay, yeah, no, we're not allowing you to do. If I want to go and do the moon override, I've got to wait until like next week, the week after, whenever it comes back around in the rotation. Like, no, I don't like it personally. I don't. I hate it. It's too restricting. They're going for like this. I don't think they actually ever said the exact words, but the concept, the look of it from the community's perspective was that Destiny always was trying to be that first-person shooter version of like WoW or Final Fantasy 14 online. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It wasn't trying to be a story-driven linear game. It was trying to be this open-world live service, which it is, and restricting it to where people can't do certain things and master certain things within certain mechanics and skills and whatever in the game, to me, just turn around and goes, nope. Maybe I don't like being on Europa's fucking override. Maybe I don't like fighting the fucking Vex and the Cabal 24/7. Maybe I want to go and fight the Hive on Moon. Maybe I want to go and fight the Scorn on fucking Tangle Shore. Like, I'm sorry to turn around to me and go, no, you have to play this week. I'm going to turn around to you and go, oh, well, I don't like that. I'm going to do it at the time that I need to do it, to do the story, and then I'm fucking off. And guess what? I'm not even touching your game. I'm playing, like, fucking Apex or Outriders or whatever other game that takes my fucking fancy at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It is Apex that's scratching you itch at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like I'm seeing, and I said this on my stream after I hit the plat, right? I'm seeing that improvement in myself. So first split last season in Apex, gold 3. Second split, gold 2. This split, solo queue, I got to gold 1, mostly solo. I did play a bit with Wig, Kirby. I did play a bit with, I think I played a bit with Lee. I think I might have played a couple of games with Otis and Dune as well. But my point being, I played a couple games of ranked with other people, so it wasn't entirely solo. But I got to gold 1, and then I was like 180 points maybe off of time plat 4, and Pash just turned around and went to me and goes, "Do you want to get there?" So yeah, I know. I want to see that visual improvement that I can say, look, I was gold, now I'm plat. My target for last split was plat, so I'm a split behind. The next split, my target is diamond because I've hit plat this split. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to see that visual improvement. He goes, right, we're getting you there. And then, sure enough, first fucking game, like I said, you can go and see the video. 14 kills, 3k fucking damage. The guy drops and just puts me in a fucking backpack, and off we fucking go. So we're having a lot more. I'm having a lot more fun with it. Do you know what I mean? I think maybe now that we're getting, as it says here, with the stasis nerf, that maybe I might get back into Destiny's PvP side.
I was thinking I might try PvP again because I kind of been avoiding it for a while, but and there's something in the trap later as well. But
I was gonna say, speaking of which, let me get the 12 open because I'm sure it's out by now.
it is. Link in the doc if you haven't got one already from elsewhere.
I've got it. I got it.
But yeah, so the next thing, as assuming I haven't skipped any tabs, is today's hotfix.
Yes.
So a lot of the status changes that we looked at last week in the swab, they're in there. A couple of small changes. So the Scavenger's Den Lost Sector did have a skip, and it was a pretty effective skip once you got used to it. That's been patched out. They put a barrier there so you can't get through. And the empty tank is given the correct exotic gear this time, instead of like having the wrong description on it.
Yay! Fixed an issue where the Aegis relic was blocking.
Not continuous,
it was not
yeah.
Continuously blocking.
That really needed fixing. I don't get how they broke that, but I'm glad they fixed it.
Alright. Then obviously they do armor.
Yep.
Path of Burning
So
Steps.
Path of Burning Steps, that's the Titan one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't do anything on being slowed now. It's only if you get actually frozen.
That's good. A bit more
Yeah.
balance.
It is good. And Starry's wasn't stacking with well properly, apparently.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll fix this balance.
And they've changed the scale, so instead of 60% damage at 4, it's now 70% damage at 8.
Yeah, I think I've seen some video on that where it's actually, I think it was from like Error, where it says still says on the screen it's stack of 4, but
it
but
was going up.
It goes up every 2 orbs of light, and the damage does as well for every orb. Yeah. Then you've got the Roar of Worm ornament for the Whisper of the Worm. Geometry would disappear when walking against a wall. Okay.
Wait, what? Okay. Disappearing sniper. I guess they better fix that.
Yeah. I think it's just the ornament though. The
Yeah,
exotic
just
actually.
the ornament on. Yeah. Disappearing geometry is not great though, so I'm glad that's patched out. They fixed an iron-handed diplomacy quest for one of the steps from reliability kills, and a triumph as well. All the status changes, we covered those the last episode.
Yeah.
Last week's 12.
We will not go through these again.
Quite a bit to scroll past.
Yeah.
Reward sources, they fixed some of that. So a lot of these are Vault of Glass. Tooltips working, secret chests dropping the right stuff, purchasing packages, doing the right things, or giving you the right weapons and not locking itself out, and giving you the right armor.
Iron Banner machine gun and shotgun now drop from Iron Banner
Yes,
engrams.
that is a good one. Because why it wasn't in the loot pool for the engrams, I don't know. But since they mentioned that Iron Banner machine gun and shotgun now drop from the Iron Banner engram, where was it? Oh yes, the TWAB. It's in the TWAB.
Well, I
it's
guess that's as good as time as any because that's basically the end of the patch notes anyway. So we'll move on over to the 12
Iron
right now.
Banner will be back shortly. Oh, next week. Yeah, so Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday.
So
I love
Pinnacle
this
Power
though.
Reward.
This week at Bungie, Mithrax told the legend of the Saint.
Yeah. Oh, that he did.
Long story
Not-
short, for those who I'm not gonna like ruin it completely, but he basically in the cutscene that we were on about earlier, he gives Saint the perspective of the Elixni, of Saint. So they see Saint as a monster. Go and watch the cutscene, and effectively,
After saying that, as well they bloody well should.
yeah. Effectively, you know, jizz yourself at the brilliance of that cutscene, like pretty much everybody else did. But yeah. Right, where is it? Yeah, so it's next week for Iron Banner, splicing down the runway. What's this? Oh, fashion game.
Yep. So doing a fashion show. Throw together a mix of armor and shaders to create a set you believe is a winner. Send them a screenshot. So if you scroll down a bit, you can see the screenshots. It's basically your appearance customization page.
Aha.
That's what they want a screenshot of. So like you can share, okay, this is the combination that makes this abomination.
Yeah, and
It's
I'd
really pretty.
I'd imagine that is so that when they tweet out the winner, they can turn around and go, look, if you want to recreate,
you can do it too.
If you want to recreate this look, this is how you can. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So 7th through 12th, so pretty much all next week. Not pretty much all, but yeah, most of. What day's the 12th? Monday. Wednesday through to Monday. No. Monday through to Saturday. Yeah. I was looking at the start of next month for some reason.
Yeah, Sunday, 7th through to the 12th, right?
Yep. And then there's a load of different examples.
Then they go on about the patch notes.
And yep.
Photosensitivity notice. Obviously, photosensitivity is a common thing amongst people. And you might have photosensitive, like epilepsy, or whatever. So they need to sort of make it properly.
Additional warnings and tags and things that's more prevalent. It's like, okay, this bit will have flashing images, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Just so that, like, they know, people know what they're getting into, or know, like, okay, for this bit they need to tweak the settings or whatever. So that they don't, start having like little seizures and things.
Okay. And then going on to teleporting enemies update, they mentioned in the previous club, we're noticing teleporting enemies since the launch of Beyond Light, because obviously they changed how what in the game systems controls the ads and stuff. There were a few ads that you would basically be ready to, like in my case, Nova Bomb with my Warlock, and then all of a sudden you'd end up on the other side of the fucking room.
Yeah, that's not fun.
They're trying to like fix that. Say that we believe that this will. Sorry, we tweaked the ongoing bandwidth limits that our servers use in order to provide more capacity for us to network data about what the AI are doing to players. We believe that this will reduce a significant source of AI teleporting across the game. Note that certain activities will still have some teleportation issues that will not be affected by this change. PC performance updates, again, since Beyond Light, PC players have been noticing a drop in performance compared to prior to Beyond Light. And so they're obviously trying to make look, we've been working on improvements with every release since then.
And they have been making a lot of small changes.
Yeah.
But with every change, obviously, because you've got to go through, like they say there, go through like the external partners like AMD and Nvidia and stuff, to get like numbers that they can use, and then obviously put it in the hands of players, because just because it works on this particular graphics card in that test bench system doesn't mean it's going to work with that same graphics card in about 7 or 8 different configurations.
Yeah.
So having that out in the live game is when they really get the feedback through.
Yeah, exactly.
So these the small performance tweaks always do take a lot of time.
So obviously they're aware of these problems and they continue to work on them and optimistic about the future. Which, to be honest, I think when they get that sorted, Destiny will be, like, in comparison with the teleporting enemies thing, and the fact that they switched over what controls the enemies within the game overall, with Beyond Light, I think Destiny in itself, just mechanically and graphically, is going to be in a better position overall than it's ever been in. And then obviously you've got the story beats like what we're getting with Season of the Splicer. For me, like I said earlier, with regards to the override, it is just the activities they need to work on. Like, making it more accessible.
No, like it's on the way. It's not quite there, but it is starting to look like
why they feel the need to outline this again. People are clearly fucking idiots. Last week, Expunge activity was released, and players noticed they weren't receiving pinnacle rewards that were highlighted in our seasonal calendar. This activity will not grant pinnacle until weekly challenge is added on June 15th. We're updating our articles and the calendar to reflect this better. Okay, I get it. Like, they may have, like, they messed up with regards to the seasonal calendar, but if it's not giving you a pinnacle, and then you report it to Bungie Help or something saying, look, this says it's giving me a pinnacle, but it's not. Like, it might be a bug. Couldn't you fix it? And then they turn around and go, it's not a bug. Like, okay, somebody said something on Twitter. I saw this last week. Basically, the day that Expunge came out, I think Bungie themselves might have tweeted this out. And it's like, dude, this is kind of fucking obvious. So, then obviously they cover the hotfix from earlier, and then they've got the weekly known issues. That tracker from fastest completion time gets reset with each completion. That's okay. That's not great, but
yeah, a lot of small sort of charges. So shield is half full. Oh.
Gravity cannons can kill players in Expunge when walking up to them from behind. Yeah, and that was a thing in the Garden World Strike as well. I'm gonna sound like a dick here, but Bungie, have you not learned the gravity lifts just don't work? Like, you need to design the geometry around the grav lift to where we land on the actual part that is the lift, and we can't clip. Like, I get it aesthetically, the circular ball grav lifts that they've put into Vex architecture make fucking sense. Like, they look great. But if it's proving an issue gameplay wise, sink the circular part below, we jump off of a ledge or something, we land in said actual grav portion of said lift and get shot to wherever we need to fucking go, rather than clipping the ball and dying instantly, because that is frustrating as shit.
I've not noticed this being an issue, but then I do sort of jump over the ball into the field anyway.
Yeah. And then movie of the week, we never actually watch them, but we do say, look, who won Prophecy, Roller Coaster, Yeet Force of Atheon.
Releasing the for bloody hell. Why do people do this?
I
mean, it's cool, but what?
And then you've got
Just
the
why?
artists of the week. That is cool. KM Carroll. That's fucking cool.
Wow.
And then a thank you for stopping by for another week's clubbiness. Is slice of blah blah blah. The Iron Banner next week. Weekly raid challenges. Water glass difficulty options. Sources, heroes, and more. Even outside of seasonal content, there's a lot more to get excited for the future of Destiny. A few of us have said our best days are ahead. With a playtest, shot of gear, or piece of concept art that passes by my desk, I can't help but agree. And then we see a guardian, a hunter by the looks of him, in a swamp / rainforesty background, which seems to correlate with concept art we got back in Destiny 1 of Old Chicago. So potentially this could be them with regards to what he said further up here. This could be a tease to we're getting Old Chicago. Maybe in, because he says, look, that was a quick tease. We're eager to show you more about the Witch Queen and expect to hear from us again with more details later in the summer. We have some awesome content to play between now and then, and we'll see you out in the wild. This is something I actually really do hope that Bungie does. Although Witch Queen is delayed till next year, right? The theory is beginning of February, right? That's the running rumor that a lot of people are sticking to. Which is obviously, or whenever it was that Season of the Chosen started, around that time is what people are sort of saying. I'm pretty sure it was beginning of Feb. But anyway, I hope they sort of stick to a similar sort of time frame with releases of like teasers and stuff with regards to Witch Queen. So where it would have been released in September, or obviously like Beyond Light in November, if they cover it, like they tease and go, look, this is essentially what you're going to be like, what they did for Beyond Light and making us all hyped for it like 3 or 4 weeks before. I hope they do the same thing on the exact same time scale if they can, like if there's enough of Witch Queen to show.
Yeah.
In the October, in the September this year. Because not only will we have, you know, the short time like we did with Beyond Light to process it and then we'll be playing it, we'll have an entire season which is going to be, the theory again is going to be kind of like Season of Arrivals was with regards to Beyond Light, and it's an actual run up to what is going to happen in Witch Queen. And they've said basically story wise this entire year is a run up to the Witch Queen. So now obviously we've got Crow back from the Spider. Season of the Chosen, the Vanguard now know it's Aldrin's body, but it's a Guardian that is now going by the Crow. We also have Keitel as an ally to fight against the Darkness and the Hive. The theory is, obviously, at the end of this season, even with all the shit that's going off with Lakshmi in the story, trying to force the Fallen out, the Eliksni out, that we are going to partner up with Mithrax, and they will stay like within the city, and they will be permanent allies of the city. And then going forward, like the whole aspect is essentially we're gathering our forces to fight the Darkness and the Witch Queen in Witch Queen. That's the running theme as it seems right now.
It does seem to be a fairly clear-cut, sort of storyline.
Yeah.
Sort of vague
And-
as it is, obviously, we don't know who we're going to gather next, but we do need to rally our forces for
Yeah.
the upcoming.
And this is the
expansion.
thing: if they did turn around and go, okay, if Witch Queen was released in November, we would have done all our marketing stuff, the Vidocs, the streams promoting it and all that in the October. If they go, okay, we're still going to do that in October this year, then the next season, you don't just go out. Something like this has got a year of build up. In fact, technically, you could even say 2 years, all the way back from Shadowkeep. Build up, right? Again, you could even say 3 years, because Forsaken and no, do you know what? I'm changing it again. 5 years. We first heard about Quaria being given to Savathûn by Oryx in Oryx the Taken King, like in the Taken King campaign, like the lore behind it. And then there's hints that Quaria is our big bad guy this season, because the Vex and the fact that it links to Savathûn and all that, like, I'm sorry, it's gonna be fucking great. And then also you can turn around and say, in the season that leads up to Witch Queen, the one that should have been released with Witch Queen, you can go, okay, well, we don't just go into a fucking war with the Witch Queen. We have a couple of skirmishes with her. So maybe that's where the whole story of Xivu Wrath and the hunts in Season of the Hunt sort of comes back around, and it's like, okay, Savathûn is using her sister, who's the goddess of war for the Hive, to start off this war, and we have this skirmish, and then maybe, I don't know, you could get another strike like the Proving Grounds, and it's us fighting Xivu Wrath, similar to how we fought Zol in the strike that came with the Warmind DLC. Do you know what I mean? Like, the possibilities of stuff like that are endless, and they can use that that season that should have been with Witch Queen, that now is leading up to Witch Queen, to be the catalyst, the skirmish, if you will. And if there is certain characters that might portray us because of the Savathûn song that's being played and stuff, there's hints of it in the story from this season as well, if you haven't seen that. Bife has a video on it, so go and check that out. Like, you could have those characters betray us in that season, and then it's a case of, oh, okay, they fucked off, fighting for our lives, and now we're going to have to actually fight for our lives in Witch Queen, and then they become like mini bosses throughout the campaign in Witch Queen, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
the possibilities are fucking endless.
they are. But we should have some more information later in the summer, they say.
Yeah, that's
probably around a similar time to Solstice, if not shortly after. It probably be it might come along with some of the other like gaming industry events and stuff. Might come
Maybe.
later.
Yeah.
I do always look forward to when Bungie run a Twitch stream on their channel, because it is always, or it has always historically been a lot of hype around it, and then about 90-ish% of the time the streams typically deliver on what it is we want to see from them. They're pretty good at managing that. So I want to see what they manage to give us, even accounting for the delay that they've had for the main piece of content that's due to come.
Yep.
So,
well, with that being said, I thank you very much for everybody for coming on out, chilling with us, listening to the updates that we gave at the beginning of the podcast. Again, listening to us talk about the topics and stuff, and hopefully, one of the other things actually we needed to cover. We talked about it before we started, Kit, and I completely forgot until just now. Is a couple of things that we want to put in place in regards to the podcast. So at some point,
I was going to mention that now. Well,
Yeah.
sort of mention that now.
At some point in this week, I am going to do a channel in the Discord that is like a suggestions thing. So, for anybody who is here live that isn't already in there, I will put the command in chat right now. You can join that if you want to make a suggestion on somebody who you could potentially speak to come on, or if you see a topic that you want to see us discuss with a guest, then you can place a link in that channel when I put it in later this week. Kit, if you want to carry on, and I will decide who we are going to raid.
Yeah, so I was going to say, well, I'll sort of do my usual spiel with a slight twist. So obviously, thanks for, if you've been here chilling with us in chat. If you haven't, I recommend it. It's really a good idea. But not to worry if you haven't been able to make it or whatever. Thanks for watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast platforms. And sort of to echo what Interactor said before, if you've got someone you want to see on the podcast, or even if you've got someone that you really wanted us to talk to again, once we've got the channel in the Discord, you can do that. You could send us a message on Twitter or reply to Trep's tweet.
Yeah.
If I can remember what the command for that was.
RL tweet was the command for that one.
Yeah, there we go. There's that tweet if you're in chat at the moment.
I will also link it in the description of the YouTube.
Yes, I'll make sure it's in the description as well. For those of you that have links, if not, I'll just I'll find a way. I'll put his handle in or something. But anyway, you can send us a message on Twitter. Respond to that tweet. At some point, I will have a submission form as well. I'll do a proper website instead of just part of my site, sort of. I'll try and do a proper website at some point for the podcast. So you'll have all loads of resource and information and stuff on there. So there's that to look forward to at some point. Who are we going to see?
We are going to go and see. There's a guy that sort of catalyst me meeting all of the Just Wipe It guys that also ended up basically being the reason that me and you are, and Kirby, because obviously we met all the Wipe It guys through him, and we met Kirby through him, and then I suggested Kirby to him, and then the guys ended up talking it over, and one of them obviously ended up actually inviting him to join, and now Kirby is part of Just Wipe It. We are going to go and see Otis, aka as you just saw right there, the Shadow Dive King.
Yeah. I hear through the grapevine that there is another bearded person with glasses who has a new job next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's that?
You're looking at him.
I think you should.
Okay. What is the new job?
I don't know. I didn't hear much. I try and lurk in different places. So I had a stream open and I heard talking about it before.
Ah. Okay. I guess we'll find out next week. And maybe it's something we can announce on the fucking podcast.
Maybe.
Kind of like we announced, you joining.
Yeah.
But right, yeah, let's go and see Otis then. Read. Otis, 44, gaming. Okay, so anyone who is here on a regular, you know the drill already, as Kit has already put them in the chat. Spam my emotes when we get over there. You can, if you're a sub, you obviously get them. If you want to use channel points, you can unlock them for 24 hours. I think it's 500 per, maybe 1,000 per. I can't remember which. I say this every time, but anyway.
There are two of them, so spend 1,000.
Yeah. If not, and you don't want to use your channel points to do that because you're saving for a command or whatever, you can use the Twitch global emotes, which are the Tomb Raid and Twitch Raid, I think it's called. I can never remember what the other one. Yeah, Twitch Raid. Emotes, which obviously Kit has also just put in the chat. Appreciate everybody for coming on out as usual and listening on the other platforms, watching on YouTube. You know, the stuff we very much appreciate it. If people can't make it live, obviously we understand that, you know, you might be busy or whatever, but we very much appreciate it. And you listen or watch on YouTube or the other platforms that we put this on, because it not only says that you are going out of your way to find it and listen to it, but that you enjoy it, because obviously people like Lee, for instance, listen to it repeatedly, like different episodes. So again, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye for now.